Just like to thank you guys for tuning in today with me. It's such a blessing to be here talking about God and sharing what He's done in my life. I pray that He uses my story to reach out to at least one person here. We've all got a story to tell, and how God has impacted our lives. And the most important thing is to reach out to others and tell people about Jesus. There's so many people out there missing out on His love and His power. God is so powerful. And it's so much more than just going to church. It's having a relationship with Him. And, every day, I'm talking to God throughout my day. He's here, right here with me, helping me with the simplest little things. I'm always asking for help. And, this life's too tough to get through it without Him. By ourselves, we can't do it. And I just like to talk a little bit about, where I come from. And, I grew up with in a Christian family, believed in God. Very, very blessed to be part of that, and I had a pretty typical childhood. Played sports. I ended up in high school. I continued my sports, and I actually had an injury my sophomore year, which kind of put a damper on things. And the following year, my grades started slipping, and I couldn't play sports. And I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. And one thing led to another. I was out drinking a lot, partying, and I got introduced to drugs, and I started getting high every day. And I was straying away from God. I went through some tough times, and I wasn't sure. I was like, why would God allow this to happen if there was a God? And I just went down a very dark, deep path, which a lot of people do and have, and it might not be with drugs and alcohol, but there's so many other things out there that are tough but I ended up getting through that tough time. I ended up getting in trouble eventually and put a stop to my drugs and drinking for a while. Going into my senior year, looking back now, God put these friends there to talk me into playing football. It's such a blessing that I went out for football that senior year, and I wanted to do my best, kind of gave me purpose again, and I got to kick for the football team, and gave a lot of my time into that to get me away from the crowd that I was hanging with and the bad things I was doing, and such a miracle from God to get me away from all that. But my senior year came to an end, and I ended up going to college, and I was going through some tough times again, but I just felt like I wasn't meant to go to college. I ended up dropping out and trying to get a job. But this day and age, people say you can't get a good job without a college degree, and I was very down on that. Just not much hope that I was going to be able to do anything in life, and I started drinking again and doing things that I wasn't supposed to. Hanging out with a lot of girls and partying again, and ended up picking up a bad drinking habit again. Probably worse than what was in high school. It's, every night, my days off, just hitting the bottle pretty hard, and that's a very destructive life if you let it. And I'd ruined a lot of relationships in the meantime, and going down a very bad path again. And it was right before I turned 21 that I finally kind of hit rock bottom again, and I decided that I was gonna try this God thing out. I started asking Him for help again, and I wanted Him to show me that He was real, that He was there still. Back over a year before that, I got a voice on my phone from a recording that said, "Think good thought," and it was clear as day. I still believe to this day that it was an angel's voice. God getting a hold of me. And when you think about it, think good thought is so powerful. You can use that in any situation, and I'm so thankful God used that to get me thinking again, and thinking that, just knowing that there's something else out there. We aren't here alone on this earth. Something created all of this. It didn't just happen by chance. And here I am. I'm 21. I quit drinking some, and I was slowing down, and I was trying to get a good job, and I landed my first full-time job January of 13. for a seed company, and I was very, very, very thankful for this, that, you know, God allowed me to get back into the workforce, and I just felt like, you know, He was going to do some big things for me, help me out again and get me on the right track. And I met a very, very nice girl there, and you know, we started dating, and her family farmed, and so I got to help them out. It had always been my dream to farm, and, you know, come to find out this girl, she wanted to farm too, and I just felt like it was from God. And, you know, she was a believer, great girl, and, you know, ended up the place I was working closed down after a year and a half, and I just wasn't sure why. You know, why would God do this? But I was working for her dad. I helped him farm, and I got to learn what that was all about, the whole process, and I really enjoyed it. You know, very blessed on, you know, getting to work with that family, and kept me on the right track. But things didn't end up working out. Like sometimes life, you know, they throw you curveballs. You know, you don't see them coming, and we went our separate ways. And, you know, here I am devastated again. So I decided to pack my things up, and I moved to Georgia, where one of my best friends growing up, you know, through high school and college, had always been there for me. He's still my best friend to today. And, you know, he helped me out these next couple months. You know, he was there for me just like always, and I just know God sent him to help me out and get me through a tough time. But you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to start a life down there or not. It wasn't feeling right. So I ended up moving back to Illinois, back close to my family. You know, there was not much agriculture down in Georgia, and that's where I felt like God was pulling me towards. You know, my love for farming. I couldn't just let it end there. So I ended up getting a job about 2 hours north of my parents, and, you know, from there, God just continued to pour out the blessings. You know, He allowed me to go out into the seed fields and do what I was loving, and just, you know, blessing after blessing up there. I was starting to get more focused on God. I gave up drinking that summer, and I quit for good. You know, it's been 2.5 years now. I don't have any urge to drink anymore. I don't have the peer pressure that doesn't present itself. You know, the only way that's possible, you know, I asked God to take that away from me, that I wouldn't have the urge to drink, and He did that. I never thought it'd be possible, but He did. And, you know, another thing is I'd never tithed before. I was reading the Bible, you know, to fully trust God, you know, you got to give Him 10%. And I wasn't sure how that would work, because He said He'd provide for you and, you know, bless you for that. And I was like, well, I'll try it. I got to put my full trust in God here. Here I'm trusting with everything else. So I did it with my finances, and, you know, He just continued to help me out and just be there for me. And He was cleaning up my life, and all of a sudden, you know, He throws this idea out to me that I'm going to build a farm someday. He gave me a plan, and I thought, you know, 20, 25 years down the road, I'll be able to farm my family farm again. Because my grandpa, he retired in 1980. So, you know, he has no equipment. He's just got the land that he's been renting out. So I'd have to start from scratch pretty much, and that's just impossible today. But I could save up over the years and probably do it with God's help. And I wasn't sure how it was going to happen, but I was just going to, you know, trust Him and do whatever I had to make this happen. Listen to Him, and all of a sudden He started blessing me with equipment. You know, He put equipment right out in front of me for what I could afford. Very nice equipment here, and, you know, stuff that I'd never dreamed I'd have. And all of a sudden I'm farming in spring of 2017, and it still doesn't seem real. Here it is, December, the end of 2017, and I completed my first harvest. You know, it was a very dry year in this area, but God supplied the rain that we needed to produce very good crops in these two counties here. And, you know, just miracle after miracle all season that I got to witness, you know, God working through my crop in different scenarios, and I'm so thankful. And there's only one explanation, and that is God. You know, He is so powerful, and He never leaves our side. You know, we just got to keep Him first. And, here I am out of my farm right now, and in my machine shed actually, with my equipment. And this is what he has blessed me with in the last year. I got my planter here, my combine, got one of my John Deere tractors that I never thought I'd have. God made all this happen, and I'm just so thankful that He's allowed me to share with you guys just a brief summary of what He's done, and I'm looking forward to share in the future. I just pray that God continues to allow me to share. So thankful for everything and what He's done for me. I just want you guys to know how powerful He is. Never give up. Whether you believe in God or you don't right now, just never give up. He's always got a greater plan for us. He took me from believing to not believing to some of the toughest times of my life that I didn't think I'd ever get out of. And He has brought me through them. And it doesn't mean that it's easy every day for me. It doesn't mean that just following Jesus it's so easy, and but it's so exciting, and He always gets us through these tough times. And I just keep Him first, and just pick up that Bible. If you're going through a tough time, pick up that Bible. I try to stick in the Word as much as I can, because when I'm not, I can tell, because I just feel distant from God. He's got that Bible there. That's my manual. I mean, he uses that to help me when I need help. When I need some advice, it's all in there. But keep sharing, and just thank you guys.